But I really want you to pay attention to how you're communicating, because unknowingly, subconsciously, you may be communicating with aggression. You may be communicating in a way that your tone expresses a specific mood. It's very similar to, if you talk to somebody, well, it could be a client, it could be a family member, it could be your spouse, it could be your boyfriend, girlfriend, and they have a specific tone where you could tell they're not in a good mood, right? The last thing you want to do is talk to them. You ever do that? You ever say like hi, like you're in a good mood, right? You say hi to somebody, or you try to communicate with someone and they're just not feeling it. They're not in the right mind state. And so they have this kind of negative reaction. It's always it's like a Debbie Downer, right? And so what do? You avoid that person. Like, fuck, man, hopefully that person's okay. But then you move on, you try to find someone on your same frequency. Well, our prospects, our leads, operate in the same way. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Sales Remastered. It's been a while since I put together some sales content. Well, actually, about a week ago, I did while I was on vacation, I chopped up a coaching session. I think it's about 3 different videos. You're gonna notice it's it because you can see I was in my office and there's a green screen in the background, but I wasn't using a green screen, right? And I did a split screen with one of my students who purchased my training program, The Secret Formula. And I got a link below so you can learn a little bit more about it. But what was interesting that he shared with me, and you'll see it on the content, is that he before he took the actual course, he went from being within like the top 40%, just above the halfway mark on the overall organization. He works for a massive size organization, by the way. And he was just right about the mid part, a little bit above the middle. And after following the lessons, studying the course, and using not only the technique but also the script and just the entire process of Sales Remastered in regards to originating sales, he went from the top 40% up to the top 5%. Now, man, I just want to put that in perspective, because if on this massive size floor, typically when you're above the top 50%, like you're within the top 40 to 50 percentile, I mean, you're given to earn at least 10 G's a month, right? So you're at about $150,000 per year. And to go from the top 40% to the top 5%, come on. Like, you went from at least 120 to 150 upwards to north of 250,000. And so let's go and put that in perspective. Let's just take a step back for a minute. And I'm not taking full credit or anything. He's the one who executed the plan. Salute to you. He put in place the discipline, the tenacity, the persistence, the patience, the faith in regards to the process. And oddly enough, he increased his income significantly. Now he's earning more income than anyone within his circle. He's earning more income than most of his friends, pretty much most of his family. And, I know that's not really what it's about, but this young man just happened to have a young child. And so he has all the right reasons. He's setting himself up and his family up for security. And so I got nothing but mad respect for that, man. Because, as you watch the video, you're going to notice that we share a lot of similarities with regards to our background. And just to play a role in regards to helping this young man climb the ladder and go from the top 40% to the top 5% of his company, I know for sure he not only doubled his income, but he removed a lot of the stress and a lot of the grind. And so if you've been following this channel for a while, I've been promoting the course that I have. Again, link below for the course. It's called SalesRemastered University. And I know sometimes, depending on where you're at in your sales career, you may need a payment plan, and I got you covered. I just want you to understand that there is information available that can really remove the grind that you face per day when it comes to, generating the sales, not only to protect your seat, not only to stay under the radar, right? Not only to earn the accolades, not only to increase your income, but improve the quality of your lifestyle. And there's something about confidence. Confidence radiates through you. And so when you gain self-awareness, and when you gain success, or when you experience success, there's a rush of momentum that leaves a trail of confidence. And so, if you've, very similar to going to the gym, right? Like after you go to the gym, you feel confident because you're warmed up, right? Like you already experienced kind of the the fluid motion of working out. And so there's this aura that comes out after you come from the gym, right? Like you're a little bit more upbeat, your mood's better, your attitude's better. And what I've personally noticed is that you tend to attract positivity. You tend to attract what it is you want and what it is you're going after. And I think it's because the discipline that you showed by just going to the gym, period, by just going through the process, going through, the sacrifice of sleep or sacrifice of time to invest in yourself. And even though the gym is more for physical purposes, this training course is more for internal purposes like mindset, lifestyle quality, income, being able to support your family and bring them to the levels that you want to reach. My main goal here in this episode is to really bring back some sales techniques. So I'm going to help you earn a couple sales today. First off, I want you to understand what most top salesmen do. One of the commonalities or the common traits that the top producers share, and they all do this, and if you can find a way to fuse this type of attitude or process within your daily regimen, I'm confident that you're going to find a pickup in not only sales, but a pickup in your confidence, pick up in your morale, pick up in your energy. And there's a reason for that. It's because it's like you figured out the cheat code. You figured out, like kind of like a warp zone, like, oh shit, I don't really need to go through all that grunt work. All it has to do is with positioning. And so a lot of the information I share with you, it's supposed to change your perception of sales and make it into a game, right? And the reason for that is because sales is all about positioning. It's not just about positioning yourself to make a sale, but positioning yourself to operate at a very high frequency, to operate at your prime. And one common trait that I've noticed from salesmen, top producers that I've worked with along the way and that I've studied along the way, is that they treat the engagement very personable, very they're always talking with a smile, not overly doing it though, not like a job interview, you know what I mean? Like, remember when you were a kid, you got to go to recess early if you sat up straight and you had your fucking hands crossed or your fingers crossed. Well, that's more like an interview type mindset. And I think a lot of salesmen, they do that interview mode because they're trying too hard to earn the job, right? To earn the sale. Where you're gonna find most response, or at least most success, is when you're actually operating in a way where you are the professional. You're confident in the information you give, but more importantly, you're engaging with a person as if they're a person, they're not a lead. And so when you talk to a person versus talk to a lead, I want you to pay attention to the way you are, because people are going to be attracted to genuine people, right? Genuine characteristics. And there's nothing genuine about you in interview mode, right? Like think about it, when you're in a job interview, you're on your P's and Q's. Well, most of you are. Some of you motherfuckers sloppy as fuck. Maybe not you, but there are some. I've been part of plenty of interviews. And for all my young hustlers out there, for all my young bucks, man, what I've noticed, the difference between interviewing someone who's older and experienced versus someone who's younger, is the person who's younger tends to go overboard. They do that extra, you know what I mean? Like, oh yes, yeah. They're not using their tone. They're using a salesman tone. And there's certain triggers that make us react in a specific way, kind of like how music makes you react in a specific way. You got music to probably get you pumped up for the gym, and then you got music to probably get you in the mood to study. You got music to get you in the mood to relax, and then you got music to maybe get you in the mood of being aggressive, right? And sometimes we play music based on our mood. Get it? And so when we hear specific sounds, we are either attracted to it or we push it away. And the reason why I bring this up is because salesmen have a specific sound rather than a sound of a professional, kind of a driver, like someone who knows what they're doing. And so I want you to think about maybe the last time that you were actually sold, right? I want you to be in the prospects chair, and I want you to think back at the time that you were really booked. Like, man, that dude sold me, or that chick sold me. Man, I got sold. And you have to kind of study that experience, because you are on the other side of the table. And if you can take away what worked for you, you're going to find that it actually works for everyone. And most of the time, the reason why it works is because of the sound. And so let me explain. The reason why a lot of top producers smile when they talk is because there's a sound to it, right? You could tell when someone's smiling and they're talking to you, just like you could tell when someone's talking to you for just one sole purpose, right? And it's kind of like those dudes, like if you ever walk by a mall or maybe a plaza or a town center, and you got that one girl or guy that's handing you the hair conditioner, right? Or some sort of, free coupon, and they're not necessarily focused on you. All they want to do is just give you the flyer or give you the sample. And, there's no personalization to it. And so when you come across your prospects, the last thing you want to do is be the guy who wants to sell something or hand them a certificate or, ask for something, right? You always want to kind of position yourself as the one who's just giving a quick courtesy notice. Like, hey, just want to let you know I sent over an email. Or, hey, just want to let you know I've been trying to reach you because there's an update, right? It's more of a notification. People like notifications. We're wired to live by notifications, right? So if you think about it, all kinds of notifications from social media, notifications from calls, texts, emails. And so we operate through these notifications. But I want you to pay attention to how you siphon these alerts and how you process these notifications, because there are notifications as you go through like your social media, or you go through your inbox, or you go through something that like your phone. Like some people, I don't know if you've noticed, you probably like it, like there's some people who have just a mass amount of unread text, right? That me personally, that would irritate me. It would bug me. It'd make me feel like I'm missing something. And then there's people who are like me, like they just can't have anything unread. And most people are like that because they're operating in a way where they got to get things done. They got to get things organized and tidy, right? And typically those people who are organized and tidy, typically those are the ones who are qualified, and they're the ones who got good credit, the ones who got the good jobs. They're basically the ideal prospects, because the last thing you want to do is become one of those unread messages, right? And so I want you to think about how people operate, because when they process their notifications, it's just not you contacting them. Like, you ever have a prospect or a client call you and they're shocked that you didn't answer the phone, as if they're just your only client? Like, they have, it's kind of like people driving. Like, I don't know if you notice it, but there's some people that drive as if they're the only one on the road. And so some people operate that way. And you got to respect that. You can't show any aggression, but you need to know why they operate that way. It's because they're focused on them. And most of our prospects are just focused on them. They need to know what's worth their time and what protects them. And so when you come off with a sound of a salesman, and typically you're coming off with the sound of a salesman if your tone is like you're in a job interview, you're trying too hard, or you're not really talking the way you really talk. Talk the way you talk when you're when you're excited about something. You know, I referenced the tone that you use when, you know, you're giving gossip, right? Like gossip is, oh man, guess what I found out, right? Or, oh, you don't know about this? Oh, what? Check this out. Let me show you, right? There's that inside information tone. And I think that's very effective when it comes to, you know, selling, because it attracts, it makes you curious. It's very similar to when you're talking and you want to give that person like the notion that you're giving them a discount, or you're giving them like an exception. So you would ultimately be talking like how I'm talking to you right now, but then you would lower it down. Like, hey, okay, so this is what we're gonna do. And the reason why you drop your tone is because you want them to listen, right? And when they're listening, they're absorbing what it is you're saying. And the reason why that works is because when you lower your tone, the tone or the decibels of your voice, it's a change, it's different. And so they're going to notice the difference, but more importantly, because it's a little bit lower, they're going to be more in tune to what you're saying. So they're going to listen a little bit more, you know, they're going to listen a little bit more with enthusiasm to know what the hell you're talking about. And so there's difference of tone, of decibels, and things that you could do to be more effective with your messaging. It doesn't even need to be over the phone. It could be in person. But I really want you to pay attention to how you're communicating, because unknowingly, subconsciously, you may be communicating with aggression. You may be communicating in a way that your tone expresses a specific mood. It's very similar to, you know, if you talk to somebody, well, it could be a client, it could be a family member, it could be your spouse, it could be your boyfriend, girlfriend, and they have a specific tone where you could tell they're not in a good mood, right? The last thing you want to do is talk to them. You ever do that? You ever say like hi, like you're in a good mood, right? You say hi to somebody, or you try to communicate with someone and they're just not feeling it. They're not in the right mind state. And so they have this kind of negative reaction. It's always it's like a Debbie Downer, right? And so what do? You avoid that person. Like, fuck, man, hopefully that person's okay. But then you move on, you try to find someone on your same frequency. Well, our prospects, our leads, operate in the same way. And that's why it's important to kind of match their tone. And so if they're calling you and they're just very serious, right? Like they're auditing, like they're interviewing you, whether or not you earn the specific job. So what you'll notice is that if you come off to them in a specific kind of way, you're actually going to push them away. You're going to influence a specific reaction that's not on the same level of what it is you want. And so the reason why I bring this up is because we all are guilty in some way of not having any empathy of how our leads respond and how they react. And so I encourage you to take in consideration of that. Please comment below. Let me know if this makes sense. And I hope this helps you make a couple extra sales today. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.